and welcome to today's episode. I'm really excited about this one because today we have a very special guest, Titan Gilroy, the man himself, the founder of Titans of CNC. Titan is a true leader in the manufacturing world, known for his incredible journey, his passion for education, and his mission to inspire the next generation of machinists. Today, we'll be diving into his cooperation with SolidCAM, the tutorials he's creating, how his CNC machines tie into this vision, and how initiatives like the Swiss Academy and the SolidCAM Maker version are empowering students, hobbyists, and professionals alike. Hi, Titan.
Hey, Linda, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm really excited.
I'm excited.
Okay, so let's start. So, Titan, you've said many times that learning CNC programming changed your life. Can you take us back to that moment from being homeless and in prison with no options into how programming gave you a purpose and a path forward?
You know, Linda, this is why we do everything that we do, and we're so grateful to SolidCAM for this amazing partnership. I think I'm living proof that you can come from the complete poverty, come from not having a great family, not having money, not having all these different things that a lot of people grow up with, and yet you can find an amazing career in manufacturing. You know, when I was young, I was getting, beaten up because I was in a rough part of town, and because I was the only kid with the white skin and stuff. And that's just how I grew up. And that's all I ever knew. So I grew in that, and I became very aggressive because it's who I had to be to succeed in that world right there. But on the side, I'd be painting and drawing. I could spend 10 hours by myself just painting pictures and different things, which was different than anybody else around because I would just be secluded. But in life, when you look at what you're going to become, what am I ever going to do? Like, what can my painting do? What can the fighting do? And I really just had no hope in life, After, I ended up fighting with Top Rank Boxing out of Vegas, and I went on vacation. I got into an altercation at a nightclub, and I threw one punch, and it got me 16 years in prison. My entire life was over. And at that time, I had no future. I had no future. I was 22 years old. But through that process, and through being locked down for 6 months, in one stint of just having that alone time, I really focused on, you know what, I'm just going to start being the best that I can be. And finally, I got out on good behavior after 3 years. I looked in the paper. I found a job as a saw operator that cuts materials for machine shops. I had no idea what machine shops were. I had no idea what a CNC was. But eventually, the opportunity would happen where I could go into a machine shop, and I got a job for $11 an hour. And as soon as I walked in, they put me on a prototrack, which I started programming simple things and simple parts. And from there, within 6 months, I was on a CNC. And because of the prototrack, I learned on a Padel how to actually program. And then my boss said, I'm going to teach you how to actually program with CAM. And I'm going to give you a raise when you can make your first part. And when you start making many parts, I'm going to actually give you another raise. And on the first day, I made my first part. And from that day forward, I made every single job. And something clicked in me. And at $11 an hour, nobody was around me to tell me I couldn't do it. So I started looking at every job that we had, and I started figuring out if I could run faster, if I could make different cuts, if I could actually decrease the cycle times. And I started playing this video game with myself, and it was just me passing time during the day and stuff. But what happened was every time the boss walked past, I would be like, hey, I just saved 3 minutes on 1,000 parts. Hey, I just saved 17 minutes on 500 parts. Oh, I just saved this. And I started making him money. And then I started making money. And then I started really dissecting and learning what process was. And today, still the same person, because what I learned in those early days was that I learned the process, and I learned that CAM programming, some people, like when you look at a part that is Swiss cheese, and people look at it and they say it's too difficult, but you simply have a mind to dissect it,
Right.
and just take it through the process, and just go from roughing down to semi-roughing to end mills to intricate to finishing. When you learn that process and it becomes a part of you, then all of a sudden today, I actually use the same process in life. I use it for my business. I dissect my business. I prioritize them, and I just walk the process. I do it in my family life. I do it in everything. And like as a machinist, I keep looking for the bigger part, the most difficult part, the hardest materials. Let's not run stainless. Let's run titanium. Let's not run titanium. Let's run Inconel. Let's run Monel. Oh, K500 is the hardest type of Monel. It's all crystallized. Let's run
So you're
that.
always challenging yourself.
And just challenge. And it literally just changed my life, because then you got people like Elon Musk and SpaceX and Blue Origin and Bezos who then need people to actually cut these materials. And that's how I found my niche. And it literally changed my life. Being a CAM programmer completely changed my life.
Wow, what an inspirational story. But you're also very talented, you know? Okay, so Titan, your journey isn't just about machines, it's about giving back. Why has philanthropy and free education become such a huge part of who you are? And how do you see it lifting up the next generation of machinists worldwide?
You know, when I started machining, I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have all these different avenues to actually learn. There was no academy. So I had to learn by myself. I had to look at some of the older machinists and take what I could from them, even though not everybody was willing to train you. And not to be like that, but they just didn't have the skill level to teach me what I was trying to learn. So knowing that, now I look at industry and I look at kids not understanding what industry is, not knowing what CNC machining is. If you say the word CNC at a mall, like nobody's going to know what it means.
Exactly.
But nobody knows what machining is. They look at their phone, they think it's just made in China, you know, or wherever and stuff. So I kind of looked at the industry and just was like, you know, I had no hope. I didn't know what manufacturing is. And now I have a life, I have a wife, I got kids, I got this. This is all because I walked into manufacturing. So I just found my purpose to actually open the door and bring awareness to as many kids as possible, to workers out there that feel stagnant, that aren't making great money, to shop owners that feel that they can't make money in industry. And we do that through our YouTube videos. And then once they get hooked in the YouTube videos, then we have a free academy that you guys know. And we're about to have SolidCAM on that academy. It's going to be incredible. But then we have a free academy to not only teach our kids, but to teach our current workforce to utilize their tools and machines in a way that allows them to make money and put food on their own tables, no matter where they are in the world right here.
You know, this thing that you always want to give back, this impressed me so much throughout all the time I've known you. I mean, it was like you rarely see a person like you that just wants to give back all the time. And this is really so impressive.
Yeah, I think the older you get, we all believe, many of us feel that we have a purpose in life, and we were created with certain gifts, and I've always felt that. And yet I've always struggled to find that purpose. And I, early on in my life, I thought it was boxing. I thought it was, you know, I was gonna have my own gallery as an artist. I saw different things, but once I went through the 2008, 2009 collapse of the economy, and I saw 50,000 companies go out, and I laid off 40 employees, and I did all these different things. I literally just saw it. And I was like, nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's showing these companies that I used to outcompete, who now don't have their companies because they've gone out of business. Nobody's showing them that they were running at 30% of their capabilities. So in that moment, I realized that this is my purpose in life and that this is what God created me for. I just didn't know how hard it was going to be. You don't just step into YouTube. You don't just step on camera and say,
Yes.
hey, I'm good enough to, teach everybody without having the world trying to knock you down and say this and say that. But perseverance, we got longevity now. We never quit. Like we've locked on to the vision to lift this industry up, to change manufacturing forever, and there is nothing that can stop us. And over time, we've caught the eyes of great companies like SolidCAM, which I'll forever be grateful.
Wow,
Boom.
music to my ears.
So good.
So let me ask you, what excites you most about this multi-year partnership with SolidCAM and Titans of CNC? Now, it's not just about software and machines, but about the impact it will have on real people in shops, classrooms, and even garages.
Well, I think I'm like a lot of people where, especially in the United States, where you know who SolidCAM is, but you don't really know, that you're just like, there's so many different cam companies. They're just one of the pack. But through our journey, into Swiss machining, all of a sudden I realized that my other cam partner, I couldn't actually do Swiss machining. I couldn't actually do a lot of the different things that were in my shop. And then I started hearing that, hey, SolidCAM actually is great for all technologies in the shop. You can run your Swiss on it. You can run your 5-axis, your mill turns, your like 3-axis, pretty much everything. And that you guys were coming out with a free version for makers. And I just thought that was such an incredible thing. And then, of course, I was at, I was at EMO a couple years ago, and I just had this firecracker in front of me just saying, no, you can't be the best. You can't say you're the best if you're not using SolidCAM.
Exactly.
And I was just like, what? Who is this person? And look, I'm with you right now on this podcast. So, but that's what it is. I mean, I love the people at the company. I love all the employees at the company. Email, I got crazy respect for him. I got crazy respect for you. Love seeing you guys travel around the world and just work harder than anybody else. That's what people have to understand. A career in manufacturing is not easy,
No.
but it is rewarding. But you
It
have to have grit, tenacity, and you got to be able to put the work in. But that's it. I'm just super excited because now we get to actually teach everyone that wants to learn exactly how to do it. And you can be a kid watching YouTube, see one of our videos, and simply go to our website, Titans of CNC, and download the SolidCAM Maker version, and you can watch our tutorials and learn how to manufacture for free, which is like the best education.
Well, listen, Amit is always thinking how to make the SolidCAM a one-stop solution. And listen, he's succeeding. He really thinks about it 24 hours a day. So yeah, that's what we are.
Okay. So how do you guys have so much energy, like to run around the world and just change everything, like just lifting up the industry? And yeah, your employees love you. I mean, that's so good.
I'll tell you what it is. You say find the job you love and you'll never have to work another day in your life. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, super good. I mean, and that's what manufacturing is. You have these big trade shows and you talk to, waitresses and waiters and stuff, and they love when manufacturing comes. They love when the machining shows are because they get tipped better than any time. The people are amazing. And that's every time you see, like I can literally go all around the world and go into any machine shop and I'm family with everyone. And you can be in Germany, you can be in Australia or wherever, but you talk the same G code, you make parts the same way. It's the same language, and it is one huge family, and you want to help family. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
Super good.
You've been building training blocks before, like the previous training blocks.
Yeah.
So with SolidCAM, how are you planning to take that concept further? And how will it empower students and shop owners to tackle bigger challenges?
Yeah, well, I think the building blocks says everyone it's the most iconic, teaching series in all of manufacturing, with hundreds of thousands of people actually using that curriculum right there. And the building blocks started when I actually built a school in San Quentin prison as a template to show people how to build an industrial school. So when I built the building blocks, it was just literally saying, hey, it's a 3-axis mill. Let's use every tool and technique, and let's start off basic, but basic is actually harder than most schools teach.
Definitely.
Let's profile, pocket, put in threads, step down. Let's make nice finishes and do all of this. And let's teach them the CAD, the CAM, and the CNC. I always believe that you have to design your own part so you understand it intimately, and therefore then you program the part and then you machine the part, and that is a full teaching series right there. And then each of the building blocks, they actually raise up. So the second is a little bit more difficult. The threads change, geometry changes. The third turns into a round part. You got O-rings, and it basically escalates into like an isogrid that's tapered where you're using 3D movements in a 3-axis machine. So what we're going to do is I'm personally going to program and teach the building blocks in SolidCAM. So everyone who wants to run that, they don't have to be like, oh, I got to be on a different software. They can actually do it with SolidCAM. But beyond there, we're going to do the lathe, the rocket. We're going to do fixturing, but we're going to not just do the fixturing we've already done. We're just going to keep advancing and showing how to do fixturing, how to set up. I'm standing in front of a MAM 5-axis beast of a machine with 40 pallets right here. SolidCAM, baby. So I'm standing right here, and this has 40 pallets, and that's education for us too, because we're teaching companies that, hey, this is how you bring your work to your own country and you actually make money. You take the setup out of it. You program efficiently and take every single tool to greatness. And then you set up this machine. This machine has 530 tools. So you set up this machine and you take each job that you run on a normal basis and you actually fixture it, you tool it up, and then for years, all you do is say, I want 5 parts, I want 100 parts, I want 1,000 parts, change palette, I want 20 of those, I want 30 of these, 50 of these. And then we're going to teach all of that strategy and how to program for lights out machining in SolidCAM. So it's not just building blocks. It is completely teaching on a daily basis how to run the most elite machines in the world, how to take a regular 3-axis and build fixtures in a way that instead of running 3 parts or 6 parts, you're running 80 parts so you can actually close the doors and walk away and make money.
Wow.
And just show the true efficiencies. But everything is in SolidCAM, and then everything is about taking every variable, every tool to its highest point in a way that it will last for a long, it has longevity, but you take the pressure off and you can run fast so you can make good money. So aerospace, we're going to be using more aerospace parts in SolidCAM. Swiss Academy, more is different series. Right now, you can go to our Swiss Academy, swissacademy.com, and you can actually go in there and learn SolidCAM in there, but we're just going to add more parts and get more difficult and escalate the process and stuff. But just take it to the moon. Whatever. We have a great relationship with Blue Origin. I was talking to them. It's like, hey, let's actually take some crazy parts that aren't like that you can actually show and maybe make some differences and show people how to actually machine these parts and stuff. So yeah, just across the board, taking everything to the highest level.
I hear you. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, how did people manage before with the finger cam when there weren't all these CNC machines and CAM programs? How did they do it? How? It's incredible for me.
I mean, it's like life is levels and manufacturing is levels. The problem is some people have the foresight and some people have the vision and get excited about the levels, even though they can't afford it or do it at the time, where other people have fear and they're scared of the levels. So now that we're on such a level, like people talk about automation and they say, well, it's just going to take jobs. And it's like, no, the jobs have already gone. So let's get efficient with our CAM programming and our solutions and actually bring the jobs back. So instead of having, 100 people at 1,000 companies in your state, let's have instead of 100, we'll go to 30, but we'll have 100,000, So the volume of workers is greater, but they're higher paid now. So it's just a different philosophy. And let's just get excited about doing great things,
Absolutely.
and just take it. If we have a company, let's make sure it's clean. Let's make sure our parts are beautiful. Let's make sure our CAM programs, every single tool is flawless. Let's make sure that we standardize everything that is great and make all programmers do the same exact thing. And let's teach them how to rise to absolute greatness in their lives as husbands and moms and, workers and everything. I mean, I just take pride in all of it. Like, let's go.
Let's go.
We'll run right now.
So you touched on the subject of the Swiss Academy. You called the Swiss Academy a leap forward for CNC education. What makes it so personal and powerful for you? And how does SolidCAM help make that vision possible?
It's personal for me because if you look at our academies, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it because we didn't copy it from anybody else. We actually looked at how would we put our tutorials online in a dynamic way, easy to actually find and easy to follow. And then at the beginning, when I made the regular academy, I didn't have a lot of videos. So everything was about putting everything up in front of your face. So if I had 10, it filled up the screen and it looked like it was a lot. But now we have thousands.
Wow.
So now it's like, okay, how do we streamline the process? And we're creating the infrastructure. We're creating our own websites. We're creating everything, our own academies and stuff. So that's our workmanship. Like we build a part, the academy is our part. We're not going outside. We're doing it ourselves. So it's important to me because we've looked at it, we've dissected it, and we've seen where we can actually be more efficient and how we can deliver a better experience. So before you go in and there's just a whole bunch of like thumbnails, boom, 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 and you're like, oh, what do I do? Like, which video do I watch? And in sequence and stuff. Where now, when you go to the Swiss Academy, you'll have like, hey, this is this series, and you go into that series, and as soon as you're in that series, it'll show you all the prints, the setup sheets, the inspection documents, everything that goes with that whole series will just stack right there, and you can basically download everything. And then all the videos are either on the bottom or on the side, depending what kind of desktop you're on and all that. But all the videos are right there. There's no pictures, but this is video 1, and then there's 2, 3, 4, and it's just so seamless. So you have within one thumbnail, you might have 15 videos within, but it's a complete. So we've just made it more efficient and better. And not to be like that, but if we make a machine part, I always make a part like I take it to a higher level, the highest level. I'm like, hey, let's actually show you jewelry. Let's show you something that is so stunning and beautiful that people are never going to want to go to a different vendor and stuff. It's the same thing with the Swiss Academy. It's like, let's show them a piece of art. Let's give them an experience they've never had before, like we do with our customers and stuff. So that's why I'm excited. And then by now, we're super excited too, because you will actually be able to get certified as a student of Titans of CNC in SolidCAM. And we're working on that with our new app, which is now out. You go onto the Apple or Android, go to the app section, look for MFG Connect, and that's our app. And that app, literally, you can find jobs, you can find companies, can find vendors, and you have a wall, you can talk to the machinists, you can talk to us, you can ask questions, and it's an art gallery to showcase your work. And you get certified in SolidCAM, so it's super good.
Super good.
Super excited.
Wow, it is. Boom.
Changing the game.
Okay, so the SolidCAM Maker version is another brainchild of Emil. So, and it's free for students and hobbyists. From your perspective, why is this access like this so critical? Can you share how it feels to give people tools that you never had when you were coming up?
100%, Linda. Like when it comes to the Maker version, it changes the absolute game, not only for you guys, but for the entire world. I mentioned it at the beginning of this whole podcast that being a programmer changed my life. It took me from having nothing and not understanding process and life and not having vision for what I was going to be to actually dissecting life, dissecting business, and showing me how to actually compete in all levels of my life on the highest level and stuff. And I'm just excited that, through our YouTube videos, through our crazy social media platforms, we're going to bring such awareness to the industry. And anybody that wants to learn, you can be 12 years old or you can be 60 years old.
Absolutely.
And it's not too late. You can learn how to program. And we're seeing it on a daily basis with people coming in and actually purchasing machines right off our floor and starting their own companies. And they're proud that they're YouTube or Academy trained. They've never worked in a CNC shop, but they had an idea for a part or an assembly of some sort. And now they're making it and with affordable machines with a crazy software like you guys have. And actually the whole thing just makes it efficient.
Absolutely.
Super good.
So you don't just teach, you sell machines and you promote brands you believe in. How does SolidCAM fit into the bigger ecosystem of machines, tooling, and education? And how does it help shops succeed in the real world?
Yeah, I think that, some people were taken back a little bit when I started selling machines, but it actually makes perfect sense because what a lot of people don't know about us is we've already in the last couple of years, we've actually inspected, meaning our inspectors have already inspected 60,000 certifications for our young people in high schools and colleges, people, and companies that are actually having in-house training and apprenticeship programs. We actually inspect everything ourselves. And so we have great partnerships and we have great technology, but at the same time, to scale education, to make the biggest difference in education, and when you're not getting grants from the government and different things, we saw that, hey, we have personal relationships with our customers. They've watched us for years. They trust us. One of the cool things is if we weren't truthful, if we were giving you bad technique, there'd be people making videos saying they crashed machines because of what we said. But it's never been done before because we give you sound teaching and we do it in a way that's never been done before. And we help people make money and advance in life. So we actually sell machines so that we can scale education and take everything that we do to the highest level to bring more change. So that's the whole thing on the machines. And when it comes to SolidCAM, it's like the engine. You can have a machine, but machines don't just make parts. It's SolidCAM that actually makes the code. And then it's the intellect and the experience of the person that's actually programming SolidCAM. I always say you can have 100 different programmers. Every single one is going to be different based on what they can comprehend. What kind of machines did you run? What kind of tolerances did you keep? What type of materials did you machine? Each one leads, some people have only ran old, dirty, slow machines. And some people get on $1 million machines and they've been around the highest level of manufacturing. And a year in this shop and a year in that shop, they're two different things and stuff. So we're going to show everyone, no matter where you're at, how to program efficiently in SolidCAM and how to actually get a machine and make your own company and actually go get it. Or go get a job and be paid great because you are a pillar in a company and you deserve it because you know how to run this CAM software.
What a great feeling. So listen, now we're coming to something really exciting. The Bombastic 2025 at the Titan facility in Dallas. You've called it more than a trade show. It's an experience. So what do you want people to feel when they come? And how does SolidCAM help bring this vision to life?
I want machinists to walk in this door. I want owners to walk in this door. I want them to spend time with us and walk out of the door 6 hours later, 8 hours later, whatever, a better person, a more inspired, a better machinist, a better owner because of what they witnessed. Now, this whole thing came about because you have IMTS, you have EMO, you have different trade shows. But
Right.
the truth is, when you go and you look at carbide tools, there's somebody with gold tools right there sitting down, and you have salespeople saying it's the best. Then you go to the next one, and there's more gold tools, more, and everyone basically looks the same. You have machines that are running air, and you have salespeople that are trained to get you to think that that's the best machine ever. For us, it's completely different. We are actually bringing you in, and we're actually running aluminum. We're running these machines. We're taking 3D printed parts and showing you how to fixture it in the 3D printer. And from that fixture simply pops right into this fixture in seconds and starts running. And we show you the process. We're showing you how to machine Inconel parts. We're showing you how to machine multiple titanium parts, 17 pore parts, stainless parts. And we're giving you all of that education so you can actually come in, see the machine. You can talk to real machinists, ask them about the process. You can see the SolidCAM program that they use. You can ask them about the technique and the strategy that they use. And then you can take a picture of a QR code, and you can download all of the information, all of what is trade secrets to most will give you all of the information so that you simply can go back to your company. You can quote 17.4. You can look at the tools and the speeds, the feeds, the depths of cuts that we did, and you can apply it to your own company to make money for your own company. So we're actually making it an education platform. Everyone sees us on YouTube. Everyone's like, I want to come visit. I want to come visit. I want to come visit. And we would be just nonstop tour guides if we just allowed everyone to come in. But we want to love on everyone. We want to be family. So we just thought, you know what, let's bring them in one time. And if everyone's going to come in at one time, let's like give them an experience they never had. Let's actually have some surf and turf, white glove experience, some crazy food, you know, and let's just give them an experience and show the machines in a way that they've never seen before and make it fantastic. And guess what? You're going to have the team over here from SolidCAM, and you can ask any question. You can come in with your best and say, like, it can't do this, it can't do that. So they can simply show that you might not have seen it, but here's how you actually do it. And you can actually see it running on all the machines, and you can open your mind to the possibilities. Even on the EDMs are running SolidCAM, all of it.
Wow.
Boom.
Listen, last year, boom, exactly. Last year, I missed Bombastic. This year, I will not miss it. I'm going to be there.
You got the energy for it, Linda, so let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, you're going to be like, people come from all over the world. It is the craziest thing. And sometimes, like, you know, I'm just doing my thing always, and I'm just pushing. But then sometimes you have people that have watched you for years. So, like, I remember, like, I came over, where's I got Brandon over here. Okay. Were they from like Guatemala or something? They were from some. Mexico? Yeah, they were all people. I think this one family, I turned the corner, and this lady with all of her kids and their, you know, her husband and everything, and they come running at me, and they're just like, Titan, you know, and I'm just like giving them all hugs and stuff. But like literally for years, they have their own machine shop in another country, and they have implemented everything that we've actually taught them. They're making money. They're actually learning how to quote new jobs and get new jobs and providing work for employees and stuff because of our YouTube channel. So it's just so cool that when you're in this, Linda, you'll see it. When you're here, it is just, everyone is ecstatic. Everyone is passionate, and they're super excited to actually be here with family. And we are just giving them a platform to teach them and make sure that they walk out better than they walked in.
For sure. And you're a celebrity. Everybody wants to meet Titan. Meet the man.
I just love on everyone. I just love on everyone. I think we started at the beginning. I'll just say, through life, as you go through life, you truly realize as you get older that it's not about you. It's not about you.
Absolutely.
It's about everyone else. To me, my faith, it's about the Lord, and it's about serving his people And you notice that, I notice with my own wife or my own, workers or whatever, if I take something for me and I go do something for me, it's never satisfying. It's when I take my wife or I take my coworkers or I take other people and let them experience it. That's when you get true joy. Because
Absolutely.
you're showing them something, and that is the meaning of life.
Yeah.
Is that when you can get to a point where you just serve people and the joy that comes from them, that's all you need. And that is what we're here for.
Listen,
So that's what I
Yeah.
found in this whole platform. I get to just serve everyone, and that's it.
Listen, giving is always more fulfilling than getting, for sure.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's take you to my last question.
Okay.
Okay, so this October, SolidCAM will bring resellers and partners from 70 countries at SolidCAM World in Prague in October. What's your message to them? The people on the ground who are carrying this mission forward. What is your message?
We can be all excited and every time we're meeting, there's so much excitement and stuff, but we cannot lose sight of the fact that this industry is hard. There are some that are super successful, they're big, and they make crazy money. But there's more that are trying to figure out how to become that. And they're on the bottom and they're quoting and competing against so many different companies. And because of that arena right there, they live with stress and they live with anxiety and they live with all this stuff because they're not making money on the parts.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, we know that if you run it more efficient, you run it with the right tools, you figure out how to run more parts, you figure out all these different things, that they can truly make more money. These companies can actually thrive. So let's not just be excited to see one another. Let's actually meet our customers. Let's meet the real workers out there who are using your CAM software, and let's concentrate on the application and what they're quoting and the work they're trying to get and bring new solutions to actually make the entire thing more efficient. If the customers are just purchasing CAM, it's not good enough. If the customers are purchasing CAM and making more money and being able to take more trips with their families and being able to actually take that anxiety and that stress off their shoulders and live great lives and be excited about the process of manufacturing because they've figured it out, that is what it's about. So let's meet the customers where they need us to be, and that's to help them lift up their solutions, lift up their process. That's one of the things about us making tutorials. People don't understand how important education is. You can buy this machine. There's a bunch of machines like this, but education matters because there's a huge amount of companies that the owner will look at this and say, I have one machinist that is qualified to run that machine. But what if he leaves? And therefore there's fear. But all of a sudden you have SolidCAM education that's actually teaching you how to program this. And he or she knows, I can actually go in and actually learn how to actually program, and I learn how to actually set up these fixtures. I can learn everything myself if I have to. That's a huge weight that comes off. So the education that we're creating together, that is something to shout from the rooftops, because it's going to help, not only help you sell CAM, because there's education, the best education in the world wrapped around it. We're going to do things that have never been done and take everything to the highest level, but it allows them to actually step into crazy machines and technology in a way that has no fear. They have no fear because they know that I can get these young guys that only know a 3-axis. I can train them on this because there's curriculum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's everything. So many people want to go out there and just quote, and what if I give you this deal? What if I give you that deal? What if I do this? What if I do that? But it's what are you making? I love you. You know what I mean? Let's figure out how we can make it more efficient. Let's figure out how to do this. And then the sale's easy. because you solve problems that they couldn't solve on their own.
Absolutely. Wow, Titan, this was so inspirational.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you over here, Linda. I'm gonna have to get you on the mic to, like, get everybody excited and stuff,
Okay.
Put you outside right when everybody's walking in. We'll get you, like, right outside, just like, welcome to Titans of CNC and SolidCAM. Boom. So good.
Okay, so thank you for joining us today and sharing your vision, your passion.
The only person in this world besides my wife that I can't say no to, Linda.
Very good. Next time I'll bring you to SolidCAM World.
So good. Oh, I love to.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks again for sharing your vision, your passion, and your education on the future of manufacturing. And it's exciting to see how the partnership between Titans of CNC and SolidCAM is opening new doors for machinists, students, and makers around the world. So if you would like to learn more, check out Titans of CNC Academy and SolidCAM's Maker version. Powerful tools to help you take your skills to the next level. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Boom.
Boom.